everybody, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 895. Just kidding. It's episode number, I don't even know, what, 246? Where are we at now?
246.
That's what I said. It's been 246. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, 895, a special number for tonight's Ovechkin.
Yes.
Breaks the record, most goals by a player in the NHL, surpassing Wayne Gretzky's 894. Now, he tied this record the previous night against Chicago. He got 893 and 894. Had the opportunity to get 895 on the empty netter. Shook his head, said, no, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I love that.
He said he wanted to score on a goalie.
Of course.
Not empty netter, obviously. And what's interesting is the goalie that he scored on today, he had never scored on before.
Yeah.
And it's his countryman, Russian, Ilya Sorokin in Sorokin.
Yeah.
Sorokin.
Oh, I can't lie. It was, a lot last, month.
Where's Rusanowski when you need him?
New York Islanders, right? So Nick hit me up earlier. I don't know if he did with you either, but tickets were going for $500 more than the face. Would you have paid that?
I personally would not have, because I'm a Sharks fan and whatever.
Let's say it was a Sharks guy that was going to do it.
If it was a Sharks guy and I'm traveling to New York,
let's say it was LA.
Sure, it's closer, right? It makes more sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more than happy to experience the moment from the comfort of home, being able to see the replays, being able to hear the people. Now, again, we talked about, being able to hear Randy and Drew, and sometimes the games are on ESPN, and you don't get to hear Randy and Drew, and I'd rather hear them than anybody else. Mm-hmm. This one, even though it was kind of broadcast, I was able to watch it. Obviously, I don't live in the New York. I don't live in Washington. Live in San Jose. I was still able to hear their own announcers, which I thought was fantastic. It wasn't one of these, Ovechkin's about to break the record, let's get some nationally broadcasted guys who are not normally the voice of the Washington Capitals, right? So it was kind of nice that they were able to get, I don't know what just happened there. It's kind of nice they were able to keep those guys as the voice for that call. It really shouldn't be any other way.
I'm surprised ESPN didn't take that game to broadcast last minute. Take it away from the local coverage for just the entire game, not just for that segment, obviously, but to be like, hey, we're going to broadcast this nationally instead of having the local guys do it, because this is, obviously, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this. But so it was nice that they did go away and go to the local coverage and be like going to Randy and Drew, right? And hearing them make the call, which I'm sure they were practicing all week because they knew it was imminent, right? It was coming with a couple of goals here and there, and
I do wonder, you're talking about practicing it, I do wonder if he was practicing the celly. Did you see the celly?
The dive,
the full-blown, NHL, franchise. Yes. That was my favorite one. It was my favorite celly. It was the belly slide.
Yep.
Just skate towards center ice, hit the button, he goes flying. That's what he did. He full on, just on the chest, as if it was a slip and slide. And the look on his face too, just loving it, dude. It was fantastic being able to watch him do that.
Can you imagine if that goal was called back offside after all that, and everyone's celebrating? He did it, and then they're like, it's under review.
I think the situation would be like, no, just count it. Yeah. We can't,
Don't let the coaches challenge it.
I told my son, I'm like, I bet you anything they completely stop the game. They will completely stop the game. They will not wait for intermission or anything else.
They said they were going to give him 9 minutes, I think it was.
Oh, really?
Right? Was that Gordie Howe tribute?
It felt like a lot longer than 9 minutes. Maybe because of the setup took a while, because they were rolling out the carpet, right? They were doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
They had Wayne come down. They had the whole family come down. All the teammates with their helmets off gathered around and everything. So the kids were there. It was just a fantastic showing. So really cool. I mean, I don't know how much we were going to really say about it, but I did want to talk a little bit about people comparing him to Gretzky. And there's, I'm not one of those ones where it's like, hey, Gretzky's still better, blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, Ovechkin's the best now, move aside. I saw something on Twitter, or X, whatever it's called, where they're like, move aside, Gretzky. And I'm like, whoa, pump your brakes here, okay? Pump your brakes. He's still the great one. He still holds a ridiculous amount of records. He just got outscored now. That's all it is,
I don't think people under, even our age, we didn't get to see prime Gretzky because we were too small, we were too little. people that didn't get to watch Prime Gretzky or any Gretzky don't quite understand the records that he holds or how unattainable probably most of them, if not all of them, the rest of them are. This one is ridiculous to me because Ovechkin did it in the same amount of games to beat the record. He was one game less to tie the record and one game more to beat the record. Or same amount of games to beat the record. It's not like he played an extra 500 games where he was just one of those players that was just longevity.
Played till he was 50 like Gordy or something, right?
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like Patrick Marleau got, he was playing till 42, 43. It wasn't something like that.
Yeah.
So that to me is impressive that he, first of all, reached it.
Yeah.
But second of all, did it in the same amount of games.
So there's a little bit of a dispute on that, actually.
Yeah, okay.
In the same amount of games. Now, everything I'm about to say between these two players is not a debate. It's not about this guy was better than that guy. It's just clearing up some kind of cobwebs here and there. Gretzky actually got that number 8 games before his last game. So he actually got that goal total 8 games prior. So for everyone saying he did it in the same amount of time.
I see what you're saying.
No, he actually got that number 8 games prior. So
he went scoreless in 7.
Right. Well, 8 games. So he went scoreless in his last 8 games.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he scored that 894th goal, and then the last 8 games of his career.
Well, it's funny because he had already passed Gordie Howe, was the leader, right?
Yes.
So they didn't know when his last goal would be. So there was no celebration. There was no anything.
Yeah.
They only celebrated after he beat Gordie Howe.
But when you look at how many goals he scored in how many games, he scored that many goals in that many games minus the 8. Because that's just his career numbers.
Gotcha.
But he scored that last goal 8 games prior to his career ending. So that's, again, I'm not taking anything away from Ovechkin. I'm not saying Ovechkin's not the best goal scorer because of this. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just clearing up cobwebs.
It's definitely apples and oranges. It's not the same comparison.
No, and again, like you've been saying,
was so different.
Exactly, like you've been saying, Gretzky's era completely different.
Yes.
The goaltenders, the pads on the goalies were like toothpicks compared to the pillows they have now.
Think about the other players on the team, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, you have 4 full lines of forwards skating. Back then, you had at least one line full of goons that would just go out and fight. They couldn't skate. They couldn't do anything else.
To be fair, I think Gretzky skated with a goon at all times.
Exactly.
So there's a little less talent on his line. He had to do more.
No, but it was a very different time,
Yes,
a very
absolutely.
different game.
Absolutely.
They still had line brawls. They still had bench clearing brawls. They still had all kinds of different things. They had the 2-line pass.
Yeah.
If they didn't have the 2-line pass, they basically made that because of Gretzky.
Yeah.
If they didn't have the 2-line pass, he probably would have had a couple hundred more goals. It would have been a very different game, even more than it was.
Again, I'm not saying any of this stuff to take away from anybody, but Gretzky also had, now again, different eras, but Gretzky did have and still has 73, I think, the most shorthanded goals.
Yes.
I mean, I understand it's a different era, but you're still playing a man down, and you're still put out there on the PK. Obviously, Ovechkin, not exactly a PK specialist. I think he had 5 shorthanded goals. I mean, still 5. That's not bad, right? I mean, maybe over the course of 895 goals now, only 5 of them were shorthanded.
How many shorthanded empty net goals were
they? Yeah,
they were probably on the penalty kill on the end of the game, and he
throw him out there for the Hattie or something,
right? Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to hear about freaking Fragile, okay?
Obviously, Ovechkin, bread and butter, as you said earlier, power play goals.
Yes.
We know where Gretzky's office was. Everybody knows where Ovechkin's office is, right? So he had way more power play goals, I think. Maybe not way more, but that's where he got a lot of his goals from, was off of the power play.
He had 325 career power play goals.
Unreal.
That's almost not half, but it's up there. Andre Chuck in next is 274.
That's still a lot, though.
Yeah, but that was his bread and butter.
Yeah, for sure.
Compared to Gretzky, he had 204 compared to the 325.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say between the two of them is if
beat off walls.
If you look at, there was a chart somebody put it there. I didn't want to give you more charts to put up. So producer Jason, you're welcome. Oh boy, I see. Look what I get. Look what I get. I get the Darren. Anyway, if you look at the chart, it's goals over time, and it's Gretzky for you guys. Gretzky is going up like this, and then it tails off at the end of his career. Obviously, the last 8 games he got 0, right? So again, at the end of his career, he kind of tailed off. For Ovechkin, it's just a straight vertical line.
Yep.
The consistency in his goal scoring is goofy. I mean, if you take a look at year over year, how many goals he had, I think he's always, except for the COVID year, always been 30 goals or above. And it's like 30, 40, 50, 60, 50, 60, 40, 30, 30. I mean, it's just constant where he's always over 30 goals. You know what I mean? So the ability to just score just repeatedly, fantastic. And I think that to me is where when people say he's the greatest goal scorer, when you look at the consistency of him scoring, just constantly over 30 goals a game, you know? Or, I'm sorry, 30 goals a game. A year. 30 goals a season, you know? Yeah. It's bonkers.
I mean, look at last season. Last season, he had a really slow start.
Yeah.
And everyone was kind of like, ooh, it's kind of, Ovi watch to see if he's going to get there. And they're like, oh, age is finally catching up to him. And then the second half of the season, he exploded. And he still ended up with, I think he was still over 30 goals.
Yeah.
Maybe even 40. I do have some charts here.
Oh, okay.
But first, I want to do a roll call.
Okay.
We're going to do it early. Roll call. Tell us what city you are watching from. And did you think Gretzky's goal scoring record would ever be broken? I mean, obviously, they hyped it up this year.
Yeah.
But just in general, did you ever think that this record was be broken? I did not think that this one would be touched.
I mean, I didn't think that it would get broken. But at the same time, again, you look at Ovechkin's consistency. And you think, man, if he plays into his 40s, I mean, he's 39 right now, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's 39. If he hits, I mean, he's going to hit 900. He's going to hit 900,
gets injured.
Right? Okay. How many more years does he have? Is this the last year of his contract? I don't think it is.
That I don't know.
So, I mean, regardless, are you telling me he's going to score, 40-something goals this season? I forget what the number was. He's got a ton of goals this season.
He's got one more year after this.
And he's got another year on his contract. Anyway. Are you telling me that if you scored that many goals in the season, you're even thinking about retiring? To me, that's bonkers.
He's turning 40 this year in September.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But
crazy.
he's still putting up 30, 40 goals. 50 goals, whatever it is, you know?
Last year he ended with 31. This year he's at 42 right
now. 42
goals. In 61 games. Remember, he got hurt this season.
Yeah.
He missed a lot of games.
He broke his leg or something, I think, right?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Breaks a leg and still comes back.
Just it's insane. If you're scoring, again, 42 is the number right now, right? Mm-hmm. Not implausible at all. With a handful of games left for him to start sniffing 50 again.
Yep.
Are you telling me that even with another year left, if he does something similar to that again, that he's not going to go for 1,000?
Yeah.
I think he gets another extension. And he keeps going for it. You kidding me?
I don't know about 1,000.
If he's scoring
105 goals away from 1,000.
If he's scoring 40 goals a season and he starts to tail off,
I think mid 900s would be realistic.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, hey, everybody didn't think he was going to break the record in the first place. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So one thing that Ben had brought up, lockouts and shortened seasons. This is what I was going to look at. So here's some charts right now. Here's a look at the top 20 players, and we'll do goals first. Right, Super Producer Jason. Here is the list of, in order of goals, how many people are there. Sidney Crosby's up there. One of the.
Well, that's out of date now, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I pulled these this morning and they didn't update it. So that's 895. And then let's look at assists. This is where it gets wonky, where people don't realize Wayne Gretzky has more assists than anybody does points.
Yeah.
You take away his goals, he did have the goal scoring record of 894 goals. You take away his goals, he still has more points than anybody. This is why it's absurd of what he did in his career when people were like, oh, Wayne Gretzky was never not the greatest player, right?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Get out of here. Even if the goaltending was different, the game was different, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's absolutely absurd. Now, here's the points. Here's the total points here. This is where Jaromir Jagr's number 2.
Yeah.
1921. This is where I was like, you know what? I think Jagr would have gotten easily over 800. I think he could have broken the record. He missed out on the 94-95 lockout. It was a half-season lockout. The 04-05 season, full season. The 11-12 season, I think it was 11-12.
Yeah.
Another half year. That's 2 full seasons. He also did 3 years in the KHL. That's 5 seasons. And some of those were in his prime. So he would have had at least another 100 goals, if not more.
Yeah.
Jagr should absolutely probably have beaten that record. I just said should absolutely probably.
Yeah, should absolutely probably, of course.
I think Jagr would have beaten that record earlier had he not had the lockouts or played in the KHL for 3 seasons.
I think he absolutely maybe could have. 100%. 20%.
So definitive. Anyway, Jaromir Jagr, I think, one of the best players, and he's the one that got robbed more than I think. Gretzky did have that lockout, one of the lockouts.
Yeah.
He was half a season, so he missed a half a season.
Yeah.
And then, but Jagr missed out on a lot. Ovechkin missed out on. I guess that would have been his rookie season was the first full lockout season. So he missed. I don't know how many goals he would have gotten in his rookie season. 20, 30 maybe. And then he had that half season at 11-12. So they kind of overlap a little bit, but Jagr's the one that I think that got robbed the most. And he should absolutely be in that conversation. But that's who I thought was going to be breaking the records. That was my point.
See,
and he played way more games.
And I think it's more plausible, like years ago, thinking that somebody might break Wayne's goal scoring record than it is right now to think anyone will ever touch, sniff his points record.
Oh, no.
There's no way in hell. No way at all.
That one is absolutely unattainable.
Yeah.
I mean, up until 10 years ago, there wasn't that many consistent 100-point scores.
Yeah.
He was getting almost 200 points in a season.
Yeah.
In the heyday. Like, that's insane. Nobody's going to be able to beat that.
And I think it was Coach Chippy is one of the guys on. He's got reels and stuff. Anyway, where he was saying like he pretends to be like Wayne Gretzky here, and he's like, oh, he's close to the record. He's going to break the record. Oh, that's cool. How many assists does he have? How many? Oh, not that really. Not that many, huh? That's strange. Does he know that I wasn't even a goal scorer? I was a playmaker. Like, it's true when you think about it. Like, he scored that many goals as a guy who wasn't really even a goal scorer, right? Yeah. He was just out there making plays and just making it happen. And again, taking a look at the amount of assists and the total amount of points, of course. I mean, he put goals in, yes, but that wasn't his bread and butter, if you will. So yeah, points untouchable, says Ben and Guzri. 100% agree. However, I will say this: there's an element to the game for Ovechkin that is so like for Gretzky, it was tons of goals, but also a ridiculous amount of points. Being able to see the game, like the vision on the hockey IQ, just off the charts, right, for a young man like that. And then all the way through his career. I think we said he tailed off a little bit, but still, when you look at Ovechkin, it's not so much about the assists and stuff that's so impressive. But when you look at the way that he plays the game, yes, there's a lot of the goal scoring and whatnot. And some of it, like again, in the power play, it's not even that impressive because he just stands there. He's literally just relaxing.
He's waiting.
He's relaxing on that left side circle, just chilling. He's not even cocked and ready to go. He's literally just like standing here like this, just waiting. And then when it looks like he's about to, there you go.
How do you not know the puck is going to him?
You do know.
Like,
there's nothing you can
do anything about it.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
All you can do is hope and pray that he misses.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
Or breaks his stick.
Yeah. So what I will say, though, about Ovechkin is that, yes, he's kind of that pure goal scorer, and he gets his assists along the way, too. But the way he plays the game, Gretzky never hit anybody like Ovechkin did.
No, that guy's a truck.
Gretzky never fought anybody, and Ovechkin he could drop the gloves and he could pound you out, right? They call him the Russian Bear. I mean, I've seen as many goal-scoring clips of Ovechkin as I have of him flipping someone over the boards.
Have you seen the clip of him playing professional soccer?
I've not.
Oh my God.
Is it good?
The guy trucks a dude. Like, he's running with the ball, and this defender comes up against him. The defender's smaller.
Yeah.
But he tries to, like, throw his body into Ovechkin, and Ovechkin just kind of shrugs him off. The guy goes flying. And you look at the difference of the size of him. You don't realize how big he is until you see him, like, in person, but on the soccer field without the pads, without anything on. He's running up against this other guy, and he just absolutely trucks the dude. Yeah. And then scores a goal with his left foot because he's left-footed.
Right.
So it was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
But I guess, like...
Shark show.
I know. We're getting there. But, like, again, it's really impressive. To me, it's almost more impressive that the second side of his game is that overly physical, overly aggressive, body checking. You know what I mean? To have that and also be a ridiculous goal scorer who breaks Wayne's record, like, that's a combination that you just don't often see, right? That physical force that people are actually afraid of, but he's also a guy that's going to put the puck in the back of the net at will. So, again, two very different players, again, different eras and whatnot, but it was, again, really cool to be able to witness that one from my couch, just kind of watching that happen there. A history that again, we get to see it. So with Wayne, we saw the end of his career, but I don't really remember it that well,
I remember more of, obviously, he was on the Kings.
Yeah.
A little bit when he was on St. Louis for a hot minute because he traded the Blues, and then the Rangers. Right? And the Rangers, it was like, that was the end of his career.
Sure, yeah.
Still good player, but not not what he used to be.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. He's just older.
Okay. I think we got all the Ovechkin talk out of our system. But again, a fantastic being able to watch that. Do you think he hits 900 before the end of the season, real quick?
Yes. I don't know how many games they have left, but I would think that he would push for it just to get it over with.
Yeah.
Rather than have that hanging over his head going into next season. I don't know.
I kind of like that you get to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe he gets 4 more.
Hit 900
hits
and then
the pause
see where
button.
he ends up next season.
All right. Okay, so let's move on here. We are a Shark show, despite all of the first, 20 minutes of just talking about it. Yeah, he's ready to go.
I love Ovechkin, sorry.
So, I know. You're a
Probably one of
Ovechkin
my favorite
fan.
players outside of Sharks.
But we will point out that Ryan Warsofsky, head coach of the San Jose Sharks, was named Team USA head coach for the 2025 IHF World Championship. What an accolade, first of all. Second, interesting, because he's coaching the worst team in the NHL. Why do you think they decided to pick him?
That's why I wanted to bring this up,
Yeah.
is other people are seeing how good of a coach this guy is and how up-and-coming of a coach that he is. He's great with the younger guys. Mm-hmm. Now, part of it could be they needed a coach that wasn't going to be in the playoffs. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, right? So that limits you to 16 teams worth. How many of those are Americans?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. But that's the starting point.
Yeah.
But he still won out over all of those. And he's good with younger players. And you're going to have a lot of players that don't on the team that don't make playoffs that are being playing for them. So most likely some young guys, probably some Sharks. Maybe Will Smith makes the team. We'll see. Yeah. So a good choice, but also I wanted to bring it up because there's already people talking about online about if Ryan Warsofsky is the right man for the job for the Sharks, which I think is absurd. So I just wanted to throw this out and be like, yes, he is, and he's recognized as one of the better coaches in the league around the league. So knock it off. He's fine.
Extremely disappointing. Downright embarrassing.
So I do wonder how many of these people that are complaining about this stuff, right? They're complaining about the coach. They're complaining about the GM. They're complaining about Sharks losing. They're complaining about us trading Blackwood and getting Georgiev back as if that was the main piece.
Yeah.
That was the main piece of the trade.
That was
right?
another one of why that was one of the worst trades ever was getting Georgiev.
It's not Georgiev. It's the second that we got. Mm-hmm. Georgiev was extra because they needed to get rid of a goalie.
Yeah.
And we needed to get one back. And if Georgiev would have been playing the way that he did in one of the games this week earlier, we actually had a good game, right? If he was playing like that for his short tenure with the Sharks, we probably would have flipped him too. It's not like we were looking for a goalie because we wanted one. We thought he was better than Blackwood was. That you guys are missing the point entirely. Now I say you guys. I'm talking to the folks that are fans of the show. And you guys already know because you guys are smart. You guys are smart because you are here with us. I'm going back and forth with the cameras because you're here with us, and you already know. You've heard us talking about this. You've got your own thoughts on this as well. But it's the folks that don't watch this show that don't get it, I guess. It's the folks that are fans of football, the folks that are fans of basketball.
I think they're more casual Sharks
The
fans
folks that are they understand sports where one player makes a difference. If we draft LeBron James and we put him on the court,
right?
He's going to carry us the whole way through. Everybody just stand back at 3-point line and he drives the net, right? That's what I think they're used to. And so when you make one small change like this, a new head coach, and you draft a guy who's number 1 overall, and you're like, well, why aren't we winning now? It's because there's 20 players on the roster, right? You can't go 1 against 5 like you can in basketball where you pull everybody off to the side. It doesn't work that way. So I think it's just a lot of either casual fans or fans of other sports who don't quite understand what a rebuild in hockey is. This takes time, and I think 100% Ryan Warsofsky is the man for the job. It's just we're coming out of this rebuild right now. And I think after this draft, after this free agency, this team is going to look a little bit different.
Yeah.
We will be pushing for that bubble spot. I thought we'd be able to do it this season. We talked a little bit about that. But I think next season, 100%, we're going to be knocking on that door. We may not be a playoff team, but we're going to be right there, I think.
There's already a step up from last season. I mean, it's weird to say because the Sharks were in last place both right now, currently, and they were last year. But the gap has shrunk, and they've already gotten more points in the standings than they did last year. I was going to pull up stats. I'm like, I might as well wait till the end of the season, which is in a week or two, to show the difference of how much they've progressed. The goals against obviously dropped.
Yeah.
The goal differential has changed. They have more points, albeit not a ton more points, but it's still progress.
Yeah.
A very low bar last year, but they're not worse than last year, which is a big deal. And next, like you just said, next season is going to be so different with free agency. The cap is going up significantly. More importantly, the basement is going up significantly. So Mike Greer's going to have to spend a lot more money. We'll see what happens with Couture. Someone just mentioned Couture. This is the same people complaining that he still has the C, that are complaining about Forgiev and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
I still think Couture is going to retire, but didn't announce his retirement because they need his numbers on the books.
Sure.
That's a $7 million to get to the floor, so they don't have to get any other players in for salary purposes to make the floor.
So if they spend enough in free agency, he'll announce his retirement. Is that what you're saying?
I think they also Macklin Celebrini will be the captain.
Yes.
He was too young it's too much to put on one kid's shoulder on his rookie year to be the captain and answer the media and all that. That just takes the pressure off of Macklin Celebrini. So I think they wanted to wait at least a season, maybe just let Couture even do one more season as the captain and not play. But I do think he's going to retire, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen next season. So that means that's another $7 million off the books.
Yeah.
Because he signed that contract before he was 35. So if you announce your retirement with a contract before you're 35, it is wiped and it doesn't count against the books. So that's another big hole that they'll need to fill cap-wise, which is a lot of money. So this season, I think the Sharks, and I don't think Greer is going to go spend at the cap. I don't think he's going to go out and because a lot of those guys that are on the market, the high-end guys, they're going to want term, and he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that, yeah. So I think that we talked about this last week, but it's a lot going on. But this team is going to look very, very different, and we're already starting to see some of those prospects now coming in that Greer had drafted, because at that, what was it, 2 weeks ago we ran the numbers. It was only Smith and Celebrini were the only two players that had played that he had drafted. Then Cagnoni was the third, and now who's in the lineup?
There was one more. Lund.
It was the fourth player. That's it. There's only 4 players that he's drafted in the last 3 years that have played.
You say that's it, but it's only been 3 years. The guys take a little while to bake.
You're right, but they were high-end draft picks, right?
Okay.
Maybe not Beasted, because they traded down, and he was at the end of the first round. But the other ones, you got, we haven't seen Dickinson play. Not that we would, but
you wouldn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Dickinson's still very young, defenseman, still in the OHL. Couldn't play in the AHL, I thought. Mm-hmm. And so in order for him to get time, he'd have to play straight to the NHL.
Right. But
I don't
Smith
think he should
have
do that.
No, I don't think he should have. I'm saying casual fans are going to be like,
where
are these guys? Why aren't they here? They need help. Obviously, they suck.
Yeah.
They're in last place. So it's a very different sport. The way that rebuilds and the cap situation, but just the team game, right? You can have McDavid on your team for years, and they're still in last place.
Yeah.
So it just takes a while. You have to build around that, and that's what Greer's been doing, and it's slowly coming together now.
I mean, case in point, you look at the last 2 first overall picks, Bedard and Celebrini, and those teams are in the dumpsters, right? Again, it doesn't mean that they're busts. It means that you have to build around that, and that building takes time. You can't just go out and buy one player and have everything turn around for you. That's just not how it works. So, I think Warsofsky, going back to Warsofsky we were talking about, I think he is the man for the job. I think once he has a couple more guys that can help push this team forward, he's absolutely going to be a great coach for this group. And I like that they moved on from David Quinn. I like that they moved on from David Quinn when they brought in Celebrini and they chose to have Smith play in the NHL, because you've got a new coach with the new studs core of the team right? Instead of having a guy go in with another year on his contract and then who knows if we're going to keep him. They learn under him and then they have to learn under a new coach. It just makes more sense to have everybody start fresh. So I think
just absolutely freaking embarrassing.
So I think it was the right choice. And I think Warsofsky is the right choice. Case in point, they chose him for Team USA. So he must be doing something right, guys, right? Yeah. On a last place team, if they're looking at him going, we want you to coach Team USA, he must be doing something right. So
that wasn't a Sharks choice to name him the head coach.
Team USA said.
Right, yeah.
Okay. We're done with that one?
Done with that one.
Good. Okay, let's move on. Try to go through these quick because who cares? Sharks, Anaheim, 4-3 shootout loss. It is a loss.
Skills competition loss.
Aaron's favorite.
It's a tie. It's a glorified tie.
That's so grumpy.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I'm so sick of the shootouts. Just get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Anyway.
Save time and just flip a coin.
This is a game that I was referring to when I said Georgiev had a good game. And if we have him playing like this before the trade deadline, I'm pretty sure he gets moved. And we get another asset back for a guy that we did not trade for because we wanted. We got as part of the package coming back. And I do want to talk about the other part of that package at some point. Kovalenko, he's not very happy apparently right now. But Georgiev, in this game, 34 saves on 37 shots. A was a 919 save percentage. This is good goaltending here. So I know the whole thing with Georgiev and everything else, and they did lose by 4-3 in the shootout. But during the game, 3 goals.
Yeah.
So I've been calling him 3 Georgiev when he's only letting 3 of them in. So in this one, yes, he's upgraded from Georgiev to 3 Georgiev.
Kellen said, great game for 2 teams not making the playoffs. I agree. It was a very entertaining game. I thought it was good because the Sharks were down 3-1 going into the third period, and they fought back and tied up the game. I think that's what we're starting to see a little bit more of is that fight, right? Like last season, we did not see that at all. So this season, again, kind of the culture change and bringing in half of a new roster than that was here last year. Plus, you have Celebrini and Smith, a lot more skill than the players that were here last year. So I think they're sick of losing. They're pushing back, and I think they're doing a pretty good job. Now, the beginning of the third period, Vetrano takes out Mook Medulin.
Yeah.
Kind of I don't want to say it was a dirty play. He was sticking up for Mook Medulin's hit. He was sticking up against Mook Medulin, but I think he kind of got crossed up. It was dirty. Like, he shouldn't have hit him, and it was a penalty, but he looked like he came down.
Are you saying what was dirty?
Vetrano's
Vetrano's, okay.
Yeah. Right. Taking down Mook Medulin. I mean, it's interference, it's roughing, it could be whatever you want to call it because he didn't have the puck. And he kind of hits him, and he kind of twists and hits the ice weird. He was holding his arm. I don't know if it was his arm or if it was his collarbone.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they've announced it. Like, that to me looked like he might have broken his collarbone.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't tell because it looked like he was holding his shoulder, but it might be, like you said, his collarbone.
Yeah. It could be shoulder. Could be, maybe, I don't know.
Dislocated or something.
Yeah.
But,
And so that sucks because he's been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
His game has really turned around. He was becoming an everyday NHLer, still growing his game, and I thought he's been doing great, shutting down some guys. His reach is so long, so he breaks up a lot of plays, just entering the zone. He's going to be missed, and what really sucks is he's going to be missed the Barracuda because I don't know if he's going to make it back in time for the playoff push. And he is eligible. They probably would have sent him down.
Yeah.
In fact, they had asked, what's the coach? McCarthy.
Yes.
And he said he's very sad that he's not going to be able
Yeah,
to
I would
play.
be too if I had a defenseman who'd been playing tons of NHL minutes.
Yes.
And he's eligible to play for your team for the Calder Cup playoffs. Missing him. You know, there's a couple things about this. How many times have we seen someone standing, not even in the crease, but just sort of in front of the net, like on a power play, for instance?
Yes.
And the defenseman just cross-checks him straight in the numbers.
Yeah.
Or like right on the placard, the nameplate, just bam, right? And so many times, like, I'm looking at this going, just call it.
Yeah.
Why don't we just call a cross-check there?
They should.
Because that's what that is.
They've talked about it. That should be like the memo that goes around the beginning of the season to all the referees. Like
Yes.
and the team saying we're gonna crack down on cross-checking because there's too many injuries.
Yeah.
It's just not healthy for the game when your players are getting injured. They need to be playing.
But my point is, like, okay, how many times have we seen like a blatant disregard for the other player's safety and health? and we just bam, right? Like he's not even in the play. You could call cross-checking, you can call interference, because he's not even in the play, and you slam this guy in the back and there's no call. How many times have we seen that? And then in this play, Mook Madolin almost looks like he just got surprised.
Yeah.
Like he's turned, the guy coming in, oh gee, and he just instinctively goes bang like this. I don't think there was any ill intent there.
No.
Right? I think it was just and cross check, guy goes down. And then Vetrano comes over acting like he tomahawked him across the neck or something like that. It's like, dude, that again, I go back to some of these announcers who say, that's the NHL now. Is you can't give a legal hit to somebody without them throwing their mitts and they have to, stick up for their guy. Now, again, not a legal hit, a cross-check, one that got called. Also one where if you just kind of saw it sort of, you see the guy going like this, but it's not like he was like, bam, bam, like trying to hit him or anything, like hard, trying to knock him down, trying to be malicious about it, right? It was just a play that got called. There was no need for that, for him to drag him down and shove him awkwardly into the boards. It was just dirty. Stupid to me.
Stupid.
So now here's the thing that I didn't like. You just talked about how they fought back. It was 3-1, and they fought hard and they came back. This is where I would like to see the Sharks fight back a little bit more.
Yes.
When it comes to the health and safety of their players, especially a young guy like Mook Madolin, right? It wasn't even something he was trying to do. He wasn't even trying to hurt the guy, right? And I don't even think the guy got hurt. I think he just got cross-checked and popped back up. And it's just an overreaction. So when you've got Vetrano doing this, there's plenty of time left in the game. Now, I know we don't have a lot of fighters on the team, but we do have guys that'll drop the mitts when time comes. Barclay Goodrow is not exactly Ryan Reeves, okay? But he's dropped the mitts when he's sticking up for a teammate.
He's leading the team in fights. I think he has 7.
I'm not saying I'm expecting Barclay Goodrow to do something, and shame on him for not doing it. But what I am saying is, when a guy gets dragged down to the ice, gets hurt, leaves the game, doesn't come back, and it was off some play that he wasn't even trying to hurt anybody, where's the response?
Yes.
Where's the response?
They talked about this after the game. Like, they asked Warsofsky, do you think there was a lack of response to that hit? And he was like, yeah, he didn't want to say, he doesn't tell players to go fight.
Yeah.
He says he would never ask someone to go fight. But it's been addressed, like you need to stick up to your teammate, basically, and do something about it.
I don't think, when he says I would never ask anybody to fight, I think the message there is, I should never have to ask you to.
That,
you know what I'm saying?
More importantly, yeah.
It's not like, hey, go do it. It's, I shouldn't have to ask you to do it. You should know this.
These games, the season's over, right?
Yeah.
You should stick up for your teammates. You see someone get hit. Look what Anaheim did.
Yes.
Their player got hit. They immediately went after Mook Madolin.
Yeah.
That's where the Sharks should be.
Exactly.
They need to go stick up for those guys.
And that was an overreaction to a nothing hit.
Right.
A nothing penalty that got called. That was an overreaction to that. And our guys don't react when he gets dragged down like it's a street fight. Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm saying. This offseason, we have a lot of money to spend. And I know no one's going to like this.
We're not getting Ryan Reeves.
I want Ryan Reeves.
No, absolutely not.
I want Ryan Reeves.
Absolutely not.
He is fast, physical, plays the game. Nobody wants to mess with him. Nobody wants to mess with him.
Nobody wants him on their team.
I don't care. I do. I do. I want Ryan Reeves.
I don't want Ryan Reeves.
You know what? I didn't want John Scott. I didn't want John Scott.
I
liked him too, but when they first made the trade for him, I was like, what is he doing? Why would we get this guy? He's a goon. He's got like 2 goals on his career, which, by the way, he doubled playing with the Sharks.
Everyone's saying no Reeves. No.
Hey. All of you guys. Yeah, Tkachuk or Bennett would be great, but come on, that's not going to happen.
Bennett's a free agent.
Maybe Bennett. Yeah. But, I mean, come on.
I
understand. Everybody hates it. I get it. No Reeves, no way. 100%. I get it. And, in some part of me even agrees with you guys, but the rest of me doesn't. I say we need somebody who is not just like a goon. He can actually skate hard. He actually bangs bodies and plays the game. And I would love to have somebody like that to stick up for our guys because no one else is doing it. So what's the alternative? I mean, we go and get a different guy, a Brady Tkachuk. You guys are naming off guys that are just kind of untameable, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Tkachuk was traded from Calgary.
Yeah, okay. But he's playing on a Stanley Cup winning team. I don't think they get rid of him. Anyway,
Sam Bennett's a free agent.
100%.
I would like to see Sam Bennett get signed. I think that would be fantastic.
I don't think Tom Wilson's going anywhere anytime soon.
Rempe is on the AHL shuttle. Rempe's the other one.
I'm not worried about. Yeah.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I'd take Reeves over Remp. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, a Reeves type player, I guess. I would like to see one guy on this team who is not going to let stuff like that happen. When you've got Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, a young guy like Mook Madulin, you've got Luca Cagnoni, who's 5'0". You know what I mean? We've got some small guys, we've got some young guys.
Yeah.
We need to have a little bit of grit. There we go. From member Brycar saying we need grit. We need a little bit of grit on this team from somebody other than Barclay Goodrow.
That's why they got a stop check. That's what his future role is going to be.
Was Ostapchuk playing in that game? Because if he was, he didn't drop the mitts. He didn't go after anybody. And if that's what he's there for, now would be a good time to showcase that that's what you're there for.
Yeah, he was playing.
I'm just saying. I'm not asking for a team full of goons. I'm asking for a response, right? And if it's a guy that can spark the other guys to say, you know what, I'm not going to have him always cleaning up the mess. I'm going to step up too for my teammates, and that's what we need.
Can Desharnais be that guy?
There you go.
That was.
You know what? Where was Desharnais? Was he? Is he out right now?
I think he's
scratched
hurt.
or hurt.
No, I think he's hurt.
Yeah, maybe Ben.
He wasn't
maybe.
In that game.
You know what though?
He's been hurt.
I've seen him in some games where some goofy stuff happens and somebody else fought and he was just standing there. And I was like, come on, Vinny.
The gentle giant.
Come on, Vinny. What you doing, Vinny?
He's just staring him down.
How do you look like that? How do you look like that? And you're a nice guy. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I'm just
Maybe
saying.
he just wasn't ready for his picture.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, he just like, tell me when.
Ready?
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
Oh, what else? Is there anything else about this game? Do we even care?
Yeah. Well,
Get on with it.
did you see the weird goal where Graf cut
Yeah.
in front?
Yeah.
And was it Dostal? Like flops.
Yeah.
Like looks like he
I
dies,
died!
Right? He's just face down. And then he's like, "Oh, there's no whistle. Oh, it's still playing.
Yeah.
I got to get up." And then
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, I'm back in the shape." And then Vlasic's like tapping his stick. Give me the puck. And he gets it.
I actually posted about that. I'm like, it's funny how Dostal like died.
Yeah.
And then realized like the play was still going and then came back to life. You know
I think
what
the
mean?
ref was yelling in behind like, "No, get up, and
you fool."
yeah.
That's what he should have been telling him.
Yep. In fact, they took a penalty because they took Graf's helmet off. They
Yeah.
were going to get a penalty, but then Vlasic scored on the play.
Yeah, I like that. Graf got they were trying to pick on Graf.
Yeah.
Two
Graf
of them
was like, "What are you?"
shoved him into the wall
Yeah.
because your goalie's an actor. You know,
Yeah.
congrats, Hollywood's calling. And then because your guys are being goofy, two defensemen pulling off onto somebody that's did nothing wrong.
Yep.
Right. But again, we got to stick up for our goal. Oh, okay, sure. And the goalie's flopped on the ground. Then you should put one in. Good on you.
Do it.
You know, that's what you deserve, Anaheim.
They don't ask how. How many?
I'll take it. I will take it all day
All right.
long.
The other goal, the tying goal, Eklund to Wenberg.
Yes.
Beautiful pass. Absolutely. And I wrote in the notes, how many
Yes.
times are we going to say this during Eklund's career? What a pass.
Many.
Unbelievable. He gets the puck. His back's to the net. He's like kind of on the goal line on the corner, right? Circles around onto his forehand and looks and sees Wenberg and just slots it right over.
Yeah.
Like it's perfectly placed, too far for the goalie to poke it. And there was a space from the defender to get his stick in the lane.
Yeah.
So it was like perfectly placed. Wenberg was right there and just slammed it home. Wasn't going to miss that.
And I'm gonna love having two of them on this team. As soon as we're done drafting Victor,
Eklund
buddy.
and Eklund.
Oh, but I can't wait, bud.
Yeah.
W. Eklund, V. Eklund. That's what it's gonna be. Back of the jerseys.
Anyway, that was my notes for this game. No, one thing I wanted to go back to. I have a graphic for this. Super
boy.
producer Jason. Going back to Georgiev.
Yes.
I didn't know this, and I posted this after this game.
Okay.
Did you know Georgiev is one of the top 5 goalies in the last 4 years in the shootout?
I didn't know. I mean, we did talk about it last episode, but I
Right.
didn't know that he was in the top 5. That's fantastic.
Let's show this graphic here.
Okay.
He's actually number 4.
Whoa.
He is 11-6
Okay.
in 17 shootouts. Now you think, okay, he was on Colorado, right? Colorado's good, but it's one-on-one. There's no defenders. There's nobody else.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's just him. 762 save percentage. It sounds low, but for a shootout, that's actually pretty good. There's only 2 goalies above him. UC Saros and Jake Ottinger at 773 and 791. So,
Well, Elvis Merzlikins has 774 there.
oh, sorry, I missed
Yeah.
that.
But anyway.
But a top goalie in the shootout. This is the guy you want to have as a goalie in the shootout, which is bizarre because you think Georgiev, right?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't let in 4 shootout goals.
Yeah.
So he does his work. He does his job in net.
Yeah.
He's amazing in net in the shootout. Just not what I thought. When I looked that stat up, I was like, what?
The pessimist in me says, yeah, he doesn't let in 4 because he lets in 3 and we can't score 3, so it's already done.
He gives the
Not
Sharks
true, though. Not
the best
true.
chance to win the shootout.
Of the goalies they have,
Right.
yes.
Yes. Top 4 in the
That
league.
is the silverest of
It's
lightnings.
just crazy. It's
No,
just
but
crazy.
yeah, that's amazing. Like for him to be that good in the shootout, I think maybe the Sharks should just switch to a run and gun style of offense and just allow breakaways because he'll stop them apparently.
Be like Edmonton.
Sure.
Edmonton Jr.
Just send everyone, all 5, right?
No defensive defenseman, just all offensive defensemen.
What's a defensive defenseman? Come on. We don't need that. It's redundant. Anyway, okay. So, yes, how many times are we going to hear this in his career? Several times. Eklund is such a fantastic pickup, such an amazing player. And this is what I'm talking about when I say it's coming, guys. It's coming. You look at the talent that's on this team right now and the talent that's coming that we've already drafted. And then the potential in free agency to get some veterans to help these guys along the way. There's so much, like, there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel here. And I'm telling you, it's coming. So again, if you're not a Sharks fan already, now is the time. Jump on the bandwagon. And if you're not subscribed, of course, hit the subscribe button because we will be here for you talking about this stuff when the Sharks are actually good. We've been doing it when the Sharks have been bad for many, many seasons now, but we cannot wait until there's something more positive to talk about in the years to come. And like I said, it's coming. So there you go. Aaron, anything else about this game?
No, that was it for this one.
Good. Let's move on. Sharks, Edmonton, a 3-2 loss. Romanov gets to start here, and Romanov plays extremely well.
I thought he did pretty well. Now, granted, there was no McDavid for this game, and Draisaitl left in the second period.
Whatever, Aaron.
Just saying. Just
yes.
saying. Still a good team, obviously. The team that went to the finals.
Right.
So they need to find ways to win without those two. And they did, unfortunately, in this game.
Yeah.
But he had some key saves in this game, and a .921 save percentage against the Edmonton Oilers.
35 saves.
That's pretty good for a guy who was not drafted.
Yeah.
Only had 1 KHL game before the Sharks signed him. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He was relatively unknown throughout the entire league, but Nabokov had his finger on him, knew him, and there's someone else, maybe another scout, and I can't remember who it was. But they were like, they saw the potential in him, even with only 1 KHL game, because he was playing in basically the minor leagues in the KHL. I forget what it's called, but who cares?
MHL, I think, is what it is.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah. So. Cool.
So
Got beat off walls.
just rude.
So anyway, a guy that comes over last season, I didn't realize this until I read it on San Jose Hockey Now. Friend of the show, Shank Penn, wrote about it. He was hurt last year, but he didn't want to tell the staff about his injury because he didn't think it was a big deal, but it lingered and it was just worse. He finally told him, and he ended up, I think it was abdominal or groin or something. I can't remember.
Core.
Lower body. Yeah, some kind of core injury. Yeah. So he got that worked on, fixed, rehabbed, and then came back and was much better this season. So even McCarthy and Warsofsky said they hadn't seen such an improvement of a goalie in ever, because he just leaps and bounds from the year before and this season. So he's been playing well. He might get a few more starts now with the Sharks in the last couple games, especially we'll get into the next game where they talked more about him possibly getting started.
Wouldn't that be amazing, though, to have that 1-2 where you drafted your number 1 and then your backup was a sleeper that nobody really knew about and he was hurt and didn't want to say anything. And when he's healthy, my goodness, what a great backup. Wouldn't that be a fantastic story for the San Jose Sharks to have their goaltending completely solidified with those 2 goaltenders? Now, it may not be the case, but would be a great story. Anyway,
he's also another beast of a goalie. I think he's 6'5".
He's a big boy.
And he's very athletic. Kind of like him and Askarov are kind of just two peas in a pod there. Very large men that are very athletic. It's kind of rare to see someone being that big and that athletic and flexible in the crease.
Also wanted to call out Jack Thompson here.
Yes.
He was playing. He got put him down with the CUDA, and he was playing with the CUDA for a while. He got called back up. Getting some games now with the Sharks again. Gets a goal in this game again. Friend of the show, Jack Thompson.
You can go back and look at that episode if you'd like. His interview with Jack Thompson, Colin Graff, and Henry Thrun.
Yes. Grand Admiral Thrun. First of all, can we talk about this for a second?
Go ahead.
ESPN, do you watch our show? What is this? I thought I was the only one that called him Grand Admiral Thrun. Okay, this is like 2 years ago I was calling him this. And all of a sudden, it's on ESPN, the Grand Admiral. What? Like, my eyes just about popped out of my head. I've never heard anyone else call him Grand Admiral Thrun before.
Our trademark got rejected.
Did it really? There you go. Yeah. So anyway,
We need to bring that segment back.
I was like, wait, what? So I went and I combed through our videos, and I found one of the videos where because it'd been a long time. I found one of the videos where we had done that clip of Grand Admiral Thrun, right, with the blue face and everything else. And I put it up there on Twitter, or X, whatever. And a handful of people caught it, but like we've
saw it.
We've had this
Yeah.
for like over 2 years.
I think 3. Whenever we traded for him from
I honestly, we might have got him and then didn't do anything and then said something about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like a Star Wars nerd and hockey fan, San Jose Sharks hockey fan, and the two things together, obviously that's why we did that.
Right.
And I've never heard anyone ever say that. And then all of a sudden it was on nationally broadcasted through ESPN. I'm like, huh? So anyway, that was interesting.
Yeah.
To me.
Jack Thompson scored this game.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great read by him. Again, pinches from the point.
Yes.
Gets in the slot, gets the puck. And interesting, it was Draisaitl that blew the coverage on him because he was guarding him and kind of skated around, which left his whole right flank open and able to get the puck. Or I think he one-timed it and picked a corner. I think it was bar down, hit the post and went in.
Yeah.
And a beaut of a shot. Anyway, they lose this game, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was a great showing because it was a nationally televised game. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't embarrassing. I thought they played well, and they made it interesting at the end, and they almost came back and tied it. There's this blue sky post. I don't know. I think that's what they call it. Darren Stevens here on Blue Sky. The NHL defines a close loss by 1 goal or 2 goals if you include an empty net goal against. That makes it a close game. With their loss to the Oilers tonight, the Sharks have 31 close losses this season, tying their franchise record set in 22-23. That is absurd.
Yeah.
Now, again, we talked about this before. 31 close losses, right? Half of those. Let's take half of those and make those wins. That's 30 points in the standings.
Yeah.
And I was like, where does that put them?
Yeah.
Is it a playoff spot? No. But it is close. That is a playoff bubble spot.
I was going to say, would you call it the bubble?
Absolutely.
See, I told you.
Absolutely.
I told every single one of you that's in the chat right now that this could be a bubble team.
That's where I think the step is next season.
Yeah.
You take those 31
Exactly.
close game losses. Because look at last year. How many close games were there? There weren't that many. They weren't 31.
Yes.
There was a lot more blowouts, a lot more 2-3 goal differences. Now you're getting those 31 close games. Now you take half of those and you turn those into wins. Then the next season, maybe a couple more of those, right? And now you're in the playoff spot. Yeah. So that's gonna be the difference there.
Yeah.
So they're close. They are improving.
Exactly. And I think, again, for the casual fan, they don't see that. They see they lost. That's it.
Right.
Right? They see they're in last. That's it. But again, there are some of these like micro changes that you can see happening if you're looking a little bit deeper. And yes, this team is actually on the cusp of making that bubble playoff appearance there. So again, it's exciting times for next season, I think, as well. So what was this? Peter St. John, but Paul, you also told us Noah Gregor would never scored 10 goals in a season. Hey, Peter St. John, it happened once. Okay, he even changed his number to 9, Peter St. John, because he gets 9 goals. Okay.
We need a New Jersey.
No,
New bet. A new bet.
Is it cheaper to just change the numbers on the jersey?
I don't know.
Well, he signed the number though.
That'd be ripping out the stitchings too.
I don't think I want to do that. Yeah.
What was he? 73.
73. It's a Foley. Yeah. Anyway.
Who knew that somebody else would have 73?
I know, right?
That's a number that you get assigned.
Exactly.
Not a number you want.
That's why he had it in the first place, right? Yeah. You've been assigned 73. There you go. Enjoy. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, what else do we want to say here? Sharks, Seattle, an ugly 5-1 loss. This was brutal. Yeah. Were you there? You weren't there. I was there.
You were there.
I was there at the game. Yeah. That was one that I wish I hadn't gone to. Frankly, that was a really ugly game.
That was
Notably, Will Smith gets the lone goal here, and it's a Luke Cunnin garbage goal. I don't understand, by the way. I think he like kind of again cross-checked someone in the back or whatever, and he created some separation. But the defenseman had enough time to recover. Turns, looks at him like jerk, and then doesn't do anything. Yeah. The shot comes. Rebound kicks out, and he's right there for it. And
it's kind of like a stick check he fought through to get it.
He just honestly there wasn't much there because they weren't even paying attention to him. Yeah. And then he just gets right there, and by the time they get their sticks on him, it's too late. Mm-hmm. He's already got the puck in the back of the net, you know. So I mean, good on him being there. And again, that's Luke Cunnin would be proud, right? Being in the right spot at the right time. Macklin gets a point here, which is nice.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that in a little. Actually, is that next?
Next.
It is next. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about with this game, but
no, that was kind of ugly. Seattle loves the fast breaks and the stretch passes, and that's how they got a couple other goals in this game. It kind of reminds me of like Vegas. Vegas was doing that when they first hit the league. Was stretch passes and really, really going for the home runs, kind of and hitting on them. So. I still think Seattle is a very boring team. There's no star power whatsoever.
Matty Beniers.
Yeah, that's an okay guy.
Okay.
He's a guy.
He's a player.
He's a guy of many guys on this team. Joey Decord, a guy. A former backup in Ottawa, just a guy, right? Sure. It's just a collection of guys playing hockey. That's
fair league.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you any names. Like, it's just like, cool. Cool. Your team is cool. Seattle just bores me. There's just no star power.
Thank you, Nick. Nick W. said Eklund dropped the gloves.
Yes.
That is the one thing we should be bringing up, because I just got done having this huge rant on where's the response. And it takes the European small skill guy
against
the European small skill guy.
It's a Swede on Finn.
Yes.
That's what I wrote at the end of the game. It's the game mercifully ends with the Swede on Finn. Violence.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about freaking fragile, okay?
You know what, though? Hey, to Eklund's credit, he gave him I think it was a right cross. Just clocked him one time, you know? There was a lot of flailing going on in there, but he got him.
He landed a couple.
He landed a good one there, yeah.
I thought it was a good fight for his first fight. I thought it was more than respectable.
Absolutely. And again, when we get his brother on the team, we can just expect double the amount. So there you go. Feisty. They're little chihuahuas. They got the dog in them. I'm telling you. Can't wait, man.
Of all the dogs, you chose Chihuahua.
Yes. Just scrappy, like, right? That's what we
bark
need.
And no bite.
No, scrappy, like Scrappy Doo, like Scooby's little cousin, nephew, whatever he was. Right. I don't even know what it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Talking about cartoons now. Anyway, anything else about this game?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah. No. Good on Eklund for dropping the gloves and a good showing. So there you go. Okay, moving on. We talked a little bit about Macklin got an assist on the Will Smith goal in the Seattle game, which leads us straight into
Calder. Watch.
Why the pause?
I was like... Calder Watch 2025.
It's hard.
Thank you.
Wow.
First place, we have still in Montreal, defense boy, Lane Hudson. In 77 games, he has 6 goals, 58 assists for 64 points, a -2. He is really taking off now, and I think this is going to be done. I honestly think he's going to be winning it now.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I really, really was pulling for Celebrini, but Celebrini's kind of hitting a wall a little bit. I mean, it's a lot of games
We'll
played.
get through the stats first. Let's get through all the stats first.
Yeah.
But, okay.
All right. And in second place, we have, in Philadelphia, Matvei Michkov. 75 games, 24 goals, 34 assists for 58 points. And let's take a look in his last 5 games. Pretty much since his coach was fired, who doesn't like him, his ice time is almost over 20 minutes every game. So no points in the last game. Against Montreal, oddly enough, was a -2. But he still has, what is that, in the last 5 games? That's 4, 6, 8 points in 5 games. That's not bad. That's going to do it, right?
Yeah.
So he's now pulling kind of firmly ahead of Celebrini in second place. And going to third place, our poor boy, Macklin Celebrini, 64 games. He's got 21 goals, 34 assists for 55 points, a minus 31. Oh, and I looked this up. How many empty net goals for the Sharks against? Empty net against. I think it was 15 or 16. So half of that and plus minus is in empty net goals, which sucks. Anyway, still Lane Hudson has not won a faceoff, unfortunately. So he's dead in our eyes.
He's going to win it anyways.
But Macklin's at 47.3% for faceoff percentage, which I think is absurd for an 18-year-old, not just a rookie, but an 18-year-old kid in the league, coming in and almost winning half of his faceoffs. And I didn't feel like looking up Dustin Wolf today, so I'm not going to give you those stats.
You don't want to look up Kater Gauthier.
I guess we can.
38 points. Same as Will Smith. Tied with Will Smith on points.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Will Smith catching up. Or no.
Catching up to fourth, but let's get real.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah. That's
two rookies in the top 5 would be awesome.
Fantastic.
Top 5 in scoring in the league. That's amazing.
Yes.
So a bright future ahead, obviously, for all of these players. But that is the young guns coming up and coming in the NHL.
It's funny that you said young guns, because we're going to bring up something a little bit later on. If you're an Upper Deck fan, young guns maybe mean something to you. But we're going to bring that up a little bit later on. But finishing off this Calder segment here, yes, I have to agree with you. I do think that, unfortunately, due to things like East Coast bias, Macklin's slowing down quite a bit here. Lane Hudson's probably going to end up running away with it. I know, like, pretty much the entire time I've been insisting it's going to be Macklin, right? And it's not an about face right now. I'm working off of what the stats for that week, right? For up until that week, I mean to say, right? If he continued on the path that he was on, if he was still like a 0.9 something goals or points per game, right? If he continued on that, and I think he's dipped, was it 0.86 or something like that now, whatever it is. So he's backing off just a little bit, and Lane Hudson's creeping up. I think he's 0.83 is what it showed out there.
Yep.
Yeah. So he is creeping up even when it comes to points per game now. I still think it's absolutely absurd the amount of assists that Lane Hudson has. Assists to points is just bonkers. The guy's got like, what, 6 goals?
6 goals.
6 goals?
Assists, yeah.
Come on, man. Like, do something else. Like, I don't know. Like, and how much of this is just secondary assists as well? You know what I mean?
Something else.
Good Lord. Like, so anyway, I think it's nuts to me, the percentage of distribution of points being goals to us. It's just so much of just getting the puck to someone. And again, he's a defenseman. I get it, but. Wow. So anyway, and as far as Michkov is concerned, yeah, I think you had said this earlier in the season as well. It's the coach is holding him back. Some nights he was getting 9 minutes in a game.
You get in the doghouse.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
For the night.
You, like, stop trying the Michigan, and it's like, you know what, coach? I'd like to try the Michigan, so just let me do it. And this coach is allowing him to do whatever he wants for 23 minutes a night, and it's paying off for Philadelphia, and it's paying off for Matvey Michkov in the Calder race. Honestly, like, if he keeps going at the rate he's going, he'll probably pass Lane Hudson in points and maybe even points per game or whatever. But I mean, he's 21 goals, I think he had this season. So, or no, 23. He's got higher. I forget what it was. You just
24.
said it too. 24. Thank you.
24.
Yes, Michkov, 24.
He's gone on a little bit of tear lately.
He's only got a handful of games left, but I mean, he's scratching the surface and thinking about getting towards 30 there. I mean, I think he'll get over 25 at least. He's got a handful of games. He'll get another one.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, if he goes off, who knows?
I mean, a hat trick away.
Hey, buddy, he pulls a Noah Gregor at the end of the season. He might get that.
I thought you were going to say an Ovechkin.
Oh, an Ovechkin. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're not talking about Ovechkin again. It's okay. he's panicky over here. Can't do that to him. Okay. What else do we want to say about the color of that? I just wanted to say, looking at Macklin and Lane Hudson, it kind of reminded me looking at Logan Couture and I forget the first name, Jeff Skinner. I want to say Stewart, but it's a goalie. Yeah. Jeff Skinner. Jeff Skinner beat out Logan Couture. Some, again, East Coast bias there, right? And the same thing that's happening here. I think Lane Hudson does have the points, and that's great. But as in terms of complete game, I think Macklin is still a more complete player, and I'd rather have him, right? And again, East Coast bias, et cetera, et cetera. It reminds me of that previous Calder conversation between Skinner versus Couture. And when you look at the career that Couture had, right, I'm more than happy if Couture didn't get a Calder, but he had the career that he did. Who cares about the Calder, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly. So, again, if Macklin ends up not winning this trophy, it's not like it's, he was a bust after all. No, absolutely not. He's still going to be a phenomenal player, and he'll probably do just as well, if not better, in Lane Hudson in his career as well. So the trophy is nice, but it's not a necessity to be able to say, hey, I was a great player, right?
You want to know a funny thing?
Oh, God, what?
How many career postseason
Are you looking
games
up Skinner's?
does Jeff Skinner have?
How many?
0.
No!
He's never made the playoffs. He will this year. It's his first time ever.
Yeah.
He's on the Oilers, so they're going to make it.
That's good.
But he was on Carolina when they were garbage.
Yeah.
Then he got traded to Buffalo, who's been garbage for 15 years. So he's
Is
literally
there-
never played a playoff game.
There was a funny stat.
He's
on
at
Buffalo.
1,072 games in his career and has never played a playoff game.
That's terrible. And Couture is known as a playoff performer,
Right.
so
Yes.
you obviously anyway. So there was a stat that the last time the Buffalo Sabres were in the playoffs, did you see this?
No.
Mike Greer was playing for them. How hilarious is that?
Silky.
Silky. Yep, there you go. Anyway, that was the last time the Buffalo Sabres were in the playoffs. Mike Greer was a player, and he played for the Buffalo Sabres. Probably did not have the nickname Silky on the Buffalo Sabres.
No.
So, pretty sure your Jimbo anointed him with that one. So there you go.
Yes.
All right, done with caller update. Musty and Chernyshov are done
Yes.
with their seasons.
Now, what does that mean?
That
to
means
people that don't know what that means.
That means that they are eligible to come into the AHL or the NHL, play for the CUDA.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean they could play in the playoffs too, though?
I believe so. I don't see why they wouldn't.
I think they can, but again, the whole thing with you have to be on that roster.
But that's
that
a
was
different
the
situation
NHL.
because they can't.
Yeah,
play.
I think maybe coming from a lower league,
an ineligible league.
Yeah,
like because they have to be in the OHL.
Yes,
until their season's done.
Yeah.
So I think they're fine. What?
Blocking your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, stop blocking your mic.
Sorry.
There you go. What he said was it's an ineligible.
Yes.
The show,
it's a
the
long
show
night.
always goes off the rails. Just always, dude. Anyway, so I just why? Anyway, I don't even know what you were talking about now. What were you talking about?
Talking about Chernyshov and Musty coming to the Barracuda or the Sharks. We'll see, but I think they're going to go to the Barracuda.
I think they go to the Barracuda. They acclimate themselves with the coach, acclimate themselves with the other players, and then take that chemistry, small amount of chemistry that gets built, and go straight onto a very long playoff push for the Calder Cup.
Yes, I'm excited.
Looking forward to it.
Did you see they were selling tickets to the Barracuda?
Oh God, how much?
Well, they're selling packages.
Okay.
So I think it was like playoff packages, but you have to buy them in blocks. So you're not buying single game tickets yet.
Interesting.
Like you have to buy the series and everything.
Yeah.
But you also get the last bits of the regular season along with it.
Okay.
So I was like,
Considerations.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be fun.
There you go. 3-time Hart winner Celebrini lost the Calder Trophy to the. Yeah, exactly. Like, who cares at that point, right?
Right.
When you've got those other accolades coming down the road, I didn't get the Calder. Who cares?
Yeah.
All right, Lord Blackshire, I appreciate that. There you go. He says, "Well said. Winning the Calder Trophy doesn't mean the winner will have a better career. 100%.
It means you won't make the playoffs ever.
You could.
Over 1,000 games in the NHL.
That's sad.
And 0 playoff.
I almost don't want to poke fun at him, but
He must be a really good golfer. Really good. Just tea time is April 20th, right when the season's done. Every year. Like clockwork.
Guys,
terrible.
get on with it.
Yes, we will. Upcoming games: Monday against Calgary, Wednesday in Minnesota, Friday in Edmonton, and then Sunday in Calgary. So we play Calgary twice this week.
Yes.
A little Dustin Wolf action there, huh?
And we also play Edmonton again.
Yeah.
So there might be some nastiness that comes over from that game.
Could be, yeah. And now we don't get to play Anaheim again. I would love to see us tune up Toronto. But
Yes,
anyway.
absolutely.
Anyway, is what it is. Okay, so we got 4 games this week, Aaron. You had said the Sharks are going to get to 20 wins. We did. I thought they were going to get 21 wins in that week. Failed you. I apologize. Okay? 4 games this week. 4 chances to get over to 21. Do you think there's a win somewhere in here between Calgary, Minnesota, and Edmonton.
I would say Edmonton, if McDavid and Draisaitl are out, I think they have a good chance to win.
Okay.
And Draisaitl re-hurt himself and didn't come back to the game, and I think he's still out. So I think that's a chance. I think Calgary, I don't know, maybe at home against Calgary.
Yeah.
I don't think so much on the road.
I think if something big happens in Calgary that goes a little unanswered, I think you see a response on Sunday in their barn, and it gets a little sloppy, a little messy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't think Minnesota's a good bet, and they are in the wild card. So they're the last
they're
wild card
pushing.
team. Calgary is same thing though. Calgary is trying to catch Minnesota. So Calgary's going to want us to beat Minnesota.
Which is good for them that they're playing us twice this week.
So if we beat Calgary
Yeah.
in the home game, that might even knock them out. Like, their chances are probably pretty slim. So they're going to come out hard.
Yeah.
Really, really hard. Minnesota is going to want to try and, solidify their chances. So they're probably going to come out and get the work done, right? So that they can make playoffs, and then they can rest their players.
Yeah.
So these are going to be tough games, man. Really tough. Edmonton's the only one I can see win, only because they're probably going to be benching some of their guys or just keeping their hurt guys out, because they're so far ahead of Calgary in the division that their playoff spot's locked.
Yeah.
Like, they can't lose it.
Guy in his dog says, I hope they let Musty get a game with the boys before going to the CUDA. That's actually a good question, too. Do you think that we get to see one or both at some point, maybe during this week or just before the end of the season, before going back with the CUDA? Just maybe even they start with the CUDA, get a game in the NHL, then go back to the CUDA or something.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him get called up, only because that gets them around the NHL team and see how they prep for games and what they do and stuff, and get the whole feel for it.
Yeah.
And then go to the AHL, or maybe, kind of bounce in between, because they are in the same building for practices. So they'll be all there. I would like to see it. Maybe get them a game, 1 or 2 games. It's not going to affect their contracts or anything, because it's just going to slide. They're playing less than 9, so
we don't even have 9 games left.
Right.
So
that's my point. It doesn't matter. So I would like to see them get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And then go, okay, now go to the AHL and work on some stuff and go far in the playoffs, and then here's what you got to work on this summer to come into training camp, so that hopefully you can make the Sharks roster next season. So I would like to see them get a game.
Yeah, me too, 100%. I've been looking forward to seeing these guys play for a while now. So, it would be great to get them a game at the NHL level, just see what they can do. Get a little bit of confidence that they can hang up there. And then when you go back to the CUDA, everything feels a little bit slower, right?
Yeah.
Just everything's a little bit slower than what I just experienced. And you kind of acclimate yourself to that, and really, again, make a nice long push for the Barracuda. How fantastic would that be for San Jose to have their AHL team make that push, get a Calder Cup, right? And it's like,
amazing.
what's coming. You've got this really good farm team, and getting those guys with that experience now playing in the NHL because they deserve it, right?
It's meaningful minutes
Absolutely.
for a lot of these guys.
Absolutely.
Meaningful hockey, right? I mean, how many Sharks currently have not played in the playoffs either?
Yeah.
Eklund hasn't.
Yeah.
A couple of these guys, obviously Smith and Celebrini, because they're pretty new, but there's a couple of guys on there. Marno Ferraro, how many games has he played, right? So it's obviously he can't play for the Barracuda, but those guys in the Barracuda are going to play some meaningful games, meaningful hockey, and that will absolutely translate into the NHL later in their careers.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted to bring up, I talked about the other part of the Blackwood trade. We're talking about guys that, we're going to be seeing on the NHL level and everything, hopefully at some point. One of the guys that came over was Kovalenko, and we haven't seen a lot of Kovalenko. He's been out of the lineup, and it seems like he's kind of frustrated. And it seemed like Warsawski was saying, well, he knows what he needs to work on and the reasons why he's out of the lineup. He's kind of a skill player that's not putting up points right now, so that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like he's going to be one of these guys. We've seen this happen before, where we bring in a guy, we're kind of excited about him because he seems like a skill guy, but it just doesn't put connect the dots, and then all of a sudden he's playing in the KHL again, right?
I think in reading what I think it was posted on San Jose Hockey Now, they kind of went back. Sheng went back to an interview with Warsawski about him back in February, and what he said about Kovalenko is that his game in the KHL was very different. They were possession. They would just possess the puck and play keep away. And they would possess, then work their way into the zone. It's a very Russian way of playing hockey. It's because you have bigger ice, it's wider, and I think more room behind the nets or something. So the game is very different because there's more space. So you can control the puck more, there's less hitting. It's just a very different game. He's not translating his game to the NHL game, and that's his problem. And I think reading between the lines of what Warsofsky is saying is, yes, Kovalenko is aware of what he needs to do. He needs to put in the work and practice and play the NHL game, and I don't think he's doing that. So I think that's part of the problem, and I'm sure it's probably stubbornness on both ends, right?
Sure.
Kovalenko going, that's not my game, I don't want to play that, and the coach saying, well, you're not good enough to be in the top 6. This is what you have to do in the bottom 6 in order to get playing time.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of butting heads, and obviously the coach has the choice to bench him or scratch him, and so he's being scratched. So Warsofsky did say you have to put in the work to practice in order to get into the game, and he's not doing that right now. Because a lot of people are like Gregor and Ostapchuk and a couple other guys, right, that Gaudreau, they're not putting up points, but it's not always about points, right? Especially in those bottom 6.
Of course.
It's not about points. I mean, yes, get some points if you can, but that's not your game. So I think he needs to work on some stuff.
That's not your expectation.
Yes.
Your expectation is to go out there and put up goals. If you do, that's fantastic. And we're all obviously want you to work towards being able to do that. But the expectation is you're going to lock it down. Mm-hmm. That's the expectation. So give the top line guys a bit of a breather, right? Shut down some of their middle scoring lines, or sometimes it's their top scoring line, right? So being good defensively, still putting pressure on offensively. It's a lot of like the grindy type of players usually. That forecheck is really hard and heavy. You forcing defensemen to move that puck quick, and usually that means it's not a very good pass because they're panicked, right? So those are the types of things that they're expecting those guys to do. And if Kovalenko is not in that role where he's just expected to go out and score, which would be kind of like that top 6, right? Generating offense. If he's not in that role and he needs to be one of those guys that, again, goes hard on the forecheck and that's not what he wants to do, unfortunately, it's just not a good fit for any NHL team. If he thinks that's unique to San Jose...
Yeah. I like his game, too.
Yeah.
I think he's really good on the boards. I think he can retrieve pucks very well and makes good plays. I think he's a good playmaker. Yeah. He does get in the kind of dirty areas. He's kind of a bigger guy, but I think he needs to utilize his body more. Yeah. And kind of, especially in the bottom 6, you're going to have to hit some guys, and I don't think he wants to hit guys. I think that's part of his problem.
So, again, not a piece that we necessarily wanted back in the Blackwood trade. The main piece was the second, so I don't want people to go, oh, what a bust that the whole trade was. The second was the centerpiece of the trade. The other guys were just coming back.
They did like Kovalenko and they wanted him.
Which is great.
They actually tried to get him the year before because he was in the KHL still.
Right.
And they couldn't
But
the time.
the centerpiece of that trade, again, was the second. Getting Kovalenko was nice. It was an extra. And sure, they may have liked him. But the whole point of that trade was to get that second. Everything else was icing.
It doesn't work out. And you just need to... maybe it will work out in a different team.
Kind of reminds me of like Barabanov, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like that whole situation.
Yeah. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
He wanted to possess the puck, and I think he was a little too small to do it. And game didn't translate. Not good enough for bottom 6 because his game is not a bottom 6 player. Not good enough to be in the consistent top 6 unless you're on a really bad Sharks team. And when you can't make that, then you're not going to make it anywhere else in the top 6.
It's funny because it's a bad team, but that top 6 is actually pretty solidified. Who would you knock down?
Oh, and the Sharks now?
Yeah, who would you knock down?
No, but when Barabanov was on 2 seasons ago, there's
sure,
plenty of room.
Sure. I'm saying, but like now even,
Yes.
like, we're a terrible team if you can't make this roster, right? Yeah. Well, okay, yes, but between Max Smith, Toffoli, Graf, Eklund, right? Wenberg, who would you knock down to the third line? I mean, maybe Graf, but I mean, he's deserved his time with the big boys. So I don't know. It's a tough one. Anyway, done with that. You, my friend, I think are moving on to the fantasy hockey.
Fantasy hockey, the trophy that is up above, right up there. We are going into the Stanley Cup. We're going into the fantasy finals this week. So,
I cannot lie, it was, a lot last, month. And
friend of the show, Graham, going into the finals in his Graham Slammers versus Steve, Father Thornton's children, who beat me out today in the semifinals. I came back roaring back today with a lot of points, but I was just short. I think I lost by about 17 points, and Graham won by about 12 points, which is pretty close. Not really close, but pretty close.
How many were assists?
How many were secondary assists?
Congratulations to them going to the finals. That means me and who was the other one?
Wasn't Devereaux?
Dirty Celebrini. No, he's in my other league.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the other league. This is the Fin Factor League. We are going to be playing in the third place game next week, so it'll be wrapped up next week.
Good luck
we'll have
to
a
you.
new winner on the trophy. And
Good
it won't
fantasy,
be me. Won't
fake
be me.
luck to you,
Now,
sir.
Graham's name is on the trophy. He was the first one to win it. So then last year he sold all of his draft picks and was in last place. So he went from first to last, and now he might go back to first.
Wow.
So good management by Graham.
Good asset management.
Yes.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well done, Graham. In your fantasy world, I guess. Anyway, I guess that does it. Anything else you want? Any comments you want to pull out here? People are talking.
I haven't been able to read it. Yeah.
Put them on the spot here.
Go ahead.
Read.
That's it.
Read and say things.
We're good.
Guys, thank you so much for being in the chat. Again, Super Producer Jason's putting on the screen there. If you like the show, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why. We only do this once a week, and it makes sense. If we had videos every single day, you wouldn't want the notification bell smacking you in the face back and forth, right? There you go.
Short show.
Short show.
We only have a
Never-
few
never
more
short
weeks
show.
left, too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So there's only a few more weeks anyway. So now is a great time. Hit the sub button. Again, you'll know when we're going live, and you can join the chat. Obviously, the best way to support the show, for me at least, is to get more people in here. So if you can, share us out to your Sharks friends and family. But if you'd like to support the show monetarily, you can do that with the super chat function. You can do that Venmo at the Fin Factor, or right there on the screen it says visit the website, thefinfactor.com, where you can pick up our hats, shirts, sweatshirts. I don't think we have fanny packs anymore. Somebody actually liked a post from like 2021 that said we have new merch, and I was like, we have new merch, and then I realized it was from 2021 that they liked it. So whoever that was that liked it from 2021, thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
But thanks, Mom. But definitely check it out, because we do have some newer stuff that's in the store there. So it's good to rep it and to support the show that way. So we appreciate that as well. Aaron, any last things to tell the people?
4 games this week. It's going to be a lot of Sharks hockey.
Absolutely. How many more games do we have after these 4? It's just one more week, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there's only 2 games that week.
2 games left? Okay. Guys, we're coming to the end of it here. We've shared all of our woes with you, and you've shared your woes with us. And we'll be here for you next week, but we're also going to be here for you in the off season. We'll be here for you guys during the draft party, I'm sure. On free agency, we'll be doing shows as well. So again, it's worth it. Hit that sub button. Guys,
We just stunk.
we just, there it is. For Super Producer Jason, I'm Paul.
I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
Next week.
next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.